Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Game Plan. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at VerifiedInvesting.com. Lots to discuss today, guys. We have a ton of stuff going on, everything from Bitcoin pushing through 70,000 to the stocks yesterday, or I should say Friday, we saw major reversals and major tech names that could spell trouble for the tech sector. So let's get right into it right here and now. First and foremost, let's take a look at what we have on the charts. All right, so the pre-market market blast, which gives us a rundown of everything that we have in store for the day. Take a look at this. Nvidia on Friday, reversal engulfing candle. Now, I brought this up to you guys because I want to talk to you about what a reversal engulfing candle is. All right, so when you have a move that takes you to all-time highs or 52-week highs or 52-week lows, and let's say you're going up, you're going up, you're going up, the kicker for a reversal engulfing candle is you need to open above the previous candle here, and you need to close below the previous. Essentially, reversal, meaning it reverses the up move to its entirety, and not only that, it opens above and closes below. Now, obviously, in crypto, this doesn't happen very often. It's more in stocks because the stock market closes at 4 p.m. and opens at 9:30 Eastern time the next day. But that would be the equivalent of a reversal engulfing candle. All right, so just in that light, I just want to quickly jump over to my charts and show you exactly what we're talking about here. So if we look at this Nvidia chart, right? So this is exactly what I just taught you guys. And again, the idea here is that this is a lot of education. I want you guys walking away from these game plans with an additional amount of knowledge that maybe you didn't have before. Notice again, Nvidia was climbing, 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 climbing. Friday, we saw an open above the previous day's high. And on Friday, it closed below the previous day's low. That would be the equivalent of a classic reversal engulfing candle. Now, these are powerful because essentially on the gap up on Friday, what you had was massive hysteria, everyone trying to get in. That's why it gapped up. There was so much hype going on. Well, guess what? By the end of the day, the institutional money, the big money, and this was a huge volume day, this was huge selling pressure, just pounded this thing down. Again, the bottom fell out of it. A lot of people get either stopped out on their shorts right up here, or a lot of people end up buying right up here and they get flushed out on the way down. Essentially, this happened not too long ago with SMCI, and you saw that that stock traded down from 1077 back into the 700s before it got another leg up. All right, so again, just wanted to go over a reversal engulfing candle. Let's get back to our other forms of information here in our market blast. All right, today GE topping tail. I should say that was Friday. So topping tail on GE signals institutional selling stepping in, potential top as the spin-off nears. Now let's do the same thing. Let's go over what a topping tail is on this Monday, which is more of an educational Monday to me. And again, what we're looking at here is look at this chart here, right? So essentially you've seen GE just go on this incredible upward momentum move. I mean, again, GE usually doesn't historically move like this, but look at that candle right there. That again fits the criteria for a topping tail. Now let's go over what a topping tail is. Well, number one, there's some criteria that you must remember. Number one, it has to be at a recent high. Generally, I look back about 90 candles or so. So I'm going back 90 days. It was easily at a high. All right, number two, it has to have a big size candle. Like it can't be a little candle like this right here, right, where it's just a tiny little thing with a long tail there. It needs to be a large candle from peak to low, from high to low. It has to be significantly larger and or equal to the biggest candles going back. Well, if we look at this, right, if we look at this right here, that size there, that's bigger than this, all the way back here, much bigger than any other candle. Okay, so that fits the criteria, right? Next up, you have to have a tail that is at least 50% of the entire high to low. Check. So that checks off as a tail. The close of the candle must be in the lower 25% of the entire length. It closed right down here. There's no doubt, considering this is all you have left down here, that this is at least in the lower 25%. So again, as I do this, and this is what goes on in my brain, when I look at candle formations on the charts and I'm teaching it to you or I'm using it in my own trading, I'm doing this checklist in my brain. And again, this is some of the stuff I teach in the Winning Trader Trader series. But the idea being is this does confirm as a topping tail signal. Now again, topping tails are reversal bearish signals. So what this tells me is that there's a high probability, notice I'm saying probability, not guarantee, that ultimately we should see a reversal here to the downside in the coming days. Now, is it common for a retrace? Yeah, a lot of times what you'll see here is that price will go up a little bit the next day and then roll over. But either way, this would be looked at as a high probability scenario for a top in GE stock. All right, guys, again, just love going into this educational stuff with you guys as we continue through. Next up, let's continue down our list here, the QQQ. So the Qs, guys, they closed below a key trend line, and the key to me now is, does it confirm? Now, confirmation to me is everything. It's a technique that I developed probably about 10 years ago in my trading, and essentially, how many times have we seen a chart where you have a resistance line here, and the chart goes above, and everyone's like, oh, it's breaking out. Oh my goodness, it's breaking out. And then what happens? It fails, and it goes right back down. So essentially, it stops out the bears here, and then it ultimately it cons all the bulls or any additional players on the sidelines to go long, and they kind of do a rug pull right there. I've seen it, and think about Bitcoin back in 2021. It broke that 65,000 high, never confirmed, so it was never a confirmed breakout, and reversed to the downside and went to 15,000 and change. So again, confirmation, very, very important here, guys. Again, that's taught in the Winning Trader series, but the key here is watch to see, and I'll guide you guys in these game plans if we confirm the breakdown on the Qs. Now, when I say confirm, well, number one, let's go back to the charts here. Let's see what we have. So when I say we broke the line, take a look at this. So here's your wedge pattern, very tight wedge. Now what you can see here, and this is a great example, is that there were other cases in the recent history where we closed below the line. Here we closed below the line. Never confirmed. Notice there was no secondary day below. Instead, the next day we went right back in. Here, we closed below, then we closed on the line, never confirmed. Friday, we closed below. Do we confirm on the QQQ? That's the question mark, guys. That's what we're watching to find out. If we confirm, the kicker is this. Odds go from 50-50, and I apologize there, that's not the best 5 I could have drawn for you guys. So 50-50 odds when you don't have confirmation that it's a breakdown, to about 75-25 that it is. So it increases the odds substantially that there is a breakdown if, and I repeat, if we get confirmation. All right, so again, just something to keep in mind there as we continue through. So let's look at these last couple tidbits here. I thought this news was worthy of talking about because it's something I've talked about quite a bit. China buys 12 tons of gold in February. This continues their epic buying spree. They are not the only country that are loading up on gold. And guys, when gold was not breaking out yet, when everyone was saying, oh, it's gold, I kept on saying, guys, the central banks and the biggest countries are buying gold hand over fist. And to me, that's something that I pay attention to. When the smartest players, the people, whether they're smartest or not, when they have the control, when they're in control of their countries or their central banks, when they have their finger on the printing press, this is something that I have to pay attention to when they're the ones buying gold, and we've seen gold break out. I think gold goes again. I think by year end, we have a chance at 2,500. We'll have to see if that ultimately gets achieved. Boeing drops again as the Justice Department opens a criminal investigation into the Boeing 737 MAX that experienced the blowout there. Again, for me, this is something that I'm going to keep an eye on the chart. The chart's been beaten down. When you see negative news, I watch for price action. Number one, does it hit support? Number two, does it reverse in bad news? When stocks end up opening lower and reversing on bad news, that's a bullish sign. All right, so a couple things we'll be looking there. Coinbase and MicroStrategies continue their epic rally as Bitcoin breaches 72,000. We'll obviously look at the Bitcoin chart in just a couple minutes. CPI data. So this is going to be the big news of the week. This is coming out tomorrow, Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time before the market opens. So I'll cover it in the game plan here. We'll look at what the markets are doing. But again, CPI data set to be reported Tuesday before the markets opened. Expectations for year over year, 3.8%. 3.1%. Last month, it was 3.1%, so there's no change expected year over year. Month over month, however, a little bit of an uptick, 0.4% versus 0.3% last week. And by the way, the last little tidbit here is going back to China. China's CPI rises for the first time in 6 months. They were actually in a deflationary spiral, but now we're seeing inflation coming back into China. And the reason why this is important is this, guys, is that the U.S. is at a point where we're kind of seeing, is inflation really going to continue to go down, or is it actually starting to uptick again, which it seems like it is. When you have China starting to see inflation again, it's something that happens when you have multiple countries competing because their economies are starting to rev up. That is inflationary globally, right? So the idea being here is China is stimulating their economy like crazy, printing money, lower rates, free this, free that, whatever it may be. They're going to see an uptick in demand. Their economy is going to start to step up. Is that going to make it harder for the U.S. CPI data, the inflation data, to start coming down further? I would say yes, because again, if you have all these countries competing for X amount of goods, it generally will drive prices up. So again, I'm still in the camp, and I've said this, I've been steadfast. If there's one thing you say about me is that I don't waver on my macro thought process. And the answer is here, guys, is that I've said inflation stays around 3% and then starts to uptick a little bit. I still see that in the cards, and we're actually starting to see the data begin to play out in that realm. All right, couple other things here, guys. Let's jump back to some charts. Quickly going into the S&P 500 here. This is that impressive wedge pattern on the S&P. Remember the QQQ we just looked at, that broke to the downside, but the spiders did not. Friday, we had that decent jobs number. It was a little weaker. The markets initially loved it, and then we saw the big reversal. Remember what I've said. I've said as long as the semiconductors hold up, this market can go higher. Well, guess what? The semis cracked on Friday. We saw a pretty impressive drop in the semis. The markets actually tagged the upper line here and then reversed. Now, we haven't broken, but again, watching today, do we close below this line? That's going to be a big thing to watch. All right, SMH, this is the Semiconductor ETF. What do you guys call this candle? Again, little pop quiz. So right here, guys, pop quiz hot shot, right? Here we have an open above, a close below that previous move after an extended upward trajectory. What's that candle called? You guys should all know this from what I just taught just a few minutes ago. Reversal engulfing candle on the semis. So the semis, again, as of now, probabilities are probably moving towards 70% that we have a potential top in the semis. You want to see a confirming down move today to really lock it in, and then you would probably get to 75 to 80%. There's nowhere you're going to get higher than probably 80% success rate because that's just the nature of the markets. The markets are unpredictable. They're ruled by emotion, and we know that. Okay. GE, we talked about that one. Take a look at Costco. This is Costco on earnings. Incredible move up here. And look at the breakdown on this. I drew this line in to show you the trend break. Again, Costco is basically valued as a tech company, but again, this does a lot of technical damage when you close below this trend line. Now, let me ask you another question, guys. So we closed below the trend line on the daily chart. Did we confirm? Has the breakdown been confirmed yet? All right, look at it. We closed below. The answer is no. As big as that red candle is, technically you have not confirmed it. All right, now again, when you have such a big candle, do you sometimes take the shot and say, yeah, it's probably a top? You could probably do that, but ideally you want confirmation to confirm it, because if we started just inching up here, this line, again, when you confirm below a trend line like this, it's called a major breakdown. When you don't confirm and you rise back up, this is only a minor resistance because it hasn't been confirmed below. So again, lots of little nuggets of impressive information here. Here's MicroStrategies, guys. Let's go to the intraday here on MicroStrategies real quick. You can see the stock is trading up over $100 pre-market. Again, this is all going to be on Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, MicroStrategies follows. The only thing I would just mention on Coinbase, if we flip to Coinbase, I actually have a resistance level coming in on Coinbase at around the 280 level. There's going to be some decent resistance here. So if we look at this chart real quick, we can see a little pivot right here, a little pivot right there. That will be a little bit of short-term resistance. I think we're trading around 270 and change right now. That'll be a level I watch. If that gets broken, then you start to move up towards this upper level right up here, which takes you into the mid 300s potentially, and that would be contingent on obviously Bitcoin continuing to run. All right, lastly, guys, take a look at Boeing here, then we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get right into the Bitcoin and gold charts and stuff like that. But if we look at this, guys, what we can see is this is your Boeing chart. We are trading just below this line today. See this channel? Perfect little channel here. We have these tops here, highs right there, lows, and lows. But this is the kicker. What we have to pay attention to is Boeing breaking this today. I'm going to watch to see where it closes and then watch to see confirmation. If it does, you're likely heading down towards this 170 to 175 level down there, which would actually be very significant support. All right, back to center screen real quick, guys. So again, one of the things I want you guys to keep in mind is that what we're going to continue to do is I'm going to do my best to teach you. We're going to obviously use the wheel here and spin that thing. That's going to be awesome for prize giveaways as we continue to fill up that wheel. But real quick, I want to thank LuxAlgo. Over the weekend, I put out my second, or I kind of formulated my second algorithm that I'm going to be giving to LuxAlgo to program in. And I'm hopeful that the first one, the topping tail, bottoming tail signals, they come out to you guys probably within about a month's time. So again, let's take a quick 30-second break to thank them. Thank you so much.
Have you considered enhancing your trading experience? We have an amazing tool for you. LuxAlgo creates next-gen trading indicators to help the world understand the markets in a smarter way. They have the largest user profile on TradingView and are the only official Discord partner in the technical analysis space. LuxAlgo Premium operates seamlessly with top platforms, such as TradingView and Discord, making it the perfect tool for every trader.
All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that.
Take your trading analysis to the next level.
So a couple things to go over, guys. Real quick, what are we seeing here? This is Bitcoin pushing back up. So we see this is very important, guys. So again, this is your weekly chart on Bitcoin. What we're watching to see on Bitcoin. So yesterday, we did not close on the weekly, at least per the data I was looking at, above this previous high. So that was something I was very keen on watching, is that the weekly again closed right here, right at that or just below that pivot top. Now again, depending on the exchange, maybe it's a little different on different exchanges, but that's something I'm keeping an eye on because that affects the ability for the weekly to confirm. So we're going to keep an eye on this, but right now it's incredible. Bitcoin, there's no doubt about it. It's got those animal spirits a la Nvidia before that big reversal that we saw. I want to see how high this goes. I have a level around 75,000 or so that could be your next target range. But again, we're talking about a chart that is rocking and rolling here as we see that spot ETF demand continuing to push in. Now again, I'm still holding my short. Granted, it's a small percentage of my overall portfolio, but I'm waiting to see what happens here over the next few days. And of course, guys, I'm going to keep it transparent. I'll let you know if I exit that trade or if I stay in that trade, as I always do with you guys. All right, couple other things to go over here on the charts. Let's go over into a couple other cryptocurrencies. We have Ethereum pushing above 4,000 here. The level on Ethereum to watch now, right, so is this pivot top right here. All right, you have these two major areas, these zones. And again, this one right here and this one, as we push above 4,000, that's assuming we don't reverse today and close back below 4,000. That would be significant. But if we do push up, $4,370 is this first level right here. Just to post that on the chart, that would be right around this zone here. And then if we continue up, obviously your big zone here would be all the way up here around that 40, what was that? Around 45,000, just around that 5,000 even number. Now, the only thing I will mention here, guys, for those of you that know the methodology, there is something called a time count. If you look at charts, there's a tendency for them to move in sevens. And again, I'm not going to go into more depth than that because it gets a lot more complicated with cycle work and all this other stuff. But ultimately, if we look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going up. Now, you could count this little tiny one, but I usually don't count that one. But we are coming into a 7 count right here. And I wonder if we're going to pop up into that 43 and change and then get a retrace back down. Now, again, ultimately, as long as these things maintain their uptrend, and you can look at these trend lines, something like that, as long as you don't break below this zone, then you look to buy those levels, right? Buy any pullback. Like if this thing pulled back to 3,000, 2,700 area, you would be a buyer since the uptrend continues to be holding strong. All right, next up, let's take a look at Madic. So Madic's on my radar for a potential short here. Again, not yet, but we can see very clearly there's a key trend line right here connected to here, which comes in around 135. So again, we're at 122. It's had an awesome move up. Remember, folks, I have nothing against Madic. I couldn't care less what it does, just like I don't care what anything does. A lot of you guys are heartfelt maxis. That's awesome. You guys have a bigger time frame than me. I'm a trader, so I'm in, I'm out. I'm going to lose some, I'm going to win some. That's just the nature of what I do. So when I talk about shorting Madic, it doesn't mean I don't like Madic. Honestly, I don't even really know what Madic does. I'm a chart trader, and so that's all I do. So I look at the chart right there. I say, okay, if it goes straight up there in the next couple days, we look for a pullback. I'll make 10, 20% on it and then exit the trade, then let it do whatever it wants to do after that. All right, so again, 135 on Madic. Looking quickly at gold here, guys. As we see, gold is basically stalled out today. I want to just show you guys one thing here. All right, let me just show you here. I want to just explain to you what I was just kind of talking about on that same chart of Bitcoin, on Ethereum, right? So remember the time count I was just talking about? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're starting to stall out right there. And so it's just something that again, when you trade for almost 25 years now, I think in this next year it'll be 25 years since I started trading at the end of this year. You start to notice certain things, and again, it doesn't mean it always works, but you just try to get the probability slightly in your favor so that you can have a winning ratio, right? Again, win 7, 8 times out of every 10, you're in the Hall of Fame essentially. So again, gold, I'm expecting a little bit of a check back here. Be interesting to see tomorrow on the CPI data. If it comes back to here, this is your buy zone. That would be a major technical support. Obviously, it's a retrace to what I call the scene of the crime. Silver, real quick. Silver's still stuck in its range. Silver has not broken out. So again, just to reiterate, silver has not broken out yet. We're still waiting to see if it can. It needs to get above this 25 zone. Look at the longer term wedge pattern right here, guys. It's had a great move from about 22 and change to 24 and change, but you got to get above here and you got to confirm. Again, confirmation is everything to me. All right, couple other things here real quick, guys. We'll take a look at oil. Oil, again, it crept just above our level. I talked about this last week, how it was struggling to break out. I'm going to go to the daily chart because I want to show you this, guys. Another great example of confirmation. I don't know how much you guys can see this here, but you closed above my level, reverse, didn't confirm. Closed above right here, reverse, didn't confirm. What you notice is when something kind of gets above and it doesn't really gain momentum, a la gold did gain momentum, right? That's been impressive. But when it kind of dances like this, where it closes above and then it gets rejected, closes above, gets rejected, it starts to make you say, wait a minute, what's the problem here? Who's selling into oil and why isn't it able to go? And then what do we see today? Downside on oil here. So it's not to say it can't break out, but the probabilities, when you had this nice bullish pattern, probabilities were probably at the 70-ish% chance that you were going to break out, but you wanted to see confirmation. Once it does this dance and starts to break down, you're now at a point where, honestly, the favoring probably adjusts more towards 70% favoring the downside. And so again, as a trader, every day you're getting a new piece of the puzzle. And every day you need to factor in, what is that new piece of the puzzle telling you in terms of probabilities about a move up or down? And that's why, again, so from day to day, probabilities are always going to shift. In fact, intraday, depending on what's going on, probabilities are going to shift. And that's what a good trader is going to do. They're going to constantly be analyzing that. All right, lastly, here we have natural gas, guys. And again, natural gas hammered on this resistance. Remember, I exited my natural gas right there. As of now, that was the right decision. I just said, you know what? Play it safe. I said I would rebuy if it kind of came down to this zone here. Now, what I don't like is the reversal candle here. So it wasn't a reversal engulfing candle like we saw in Nvidia and this SMH, but nonetheless, this was not something that made me really want to get back into it, even though we're still holding this at this point. Now, again, it doesn't mean that won't change as we get more candles, but as of now, I'm still sitting on the sidelines, even though we have retraced into technical support on the chart. And I'll teach you guys about candle formations in the next, maybe in the next couple episodes, and helping you understand why this, so if you break, let's say you go up into resistance and then you do this, that's much better versus when you do this. That's not good. And just a little insight into that before we get going. This is an in spirit of bull flag. This is a reversal. And then what ends up happening is you do that, which now creates a bear flag. And so again, it's all about how the pattern goes up and down, which gives you probabilities, not accuracy, not 100% accuracy, just probabilities. All right, guys, enough said there. So let's just come back to center screen here as we continue through. Thank you guys for tuning in with me on another game plan. I do hope you enjoyed all the education today. I'm going to do my best to continue to deliver some of the best education you will ever get. Is coming from a trader that has been literally, battered in every type of market in my early years and still gets battered today. Let's be fair. There's markets that will do things that I don't think they're going to do, and that's just the nature of being a trader. All right, there's no one that's perfect in this game. Anyone tells you they are fibbing you. All right, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll talk to you later.
Have you considered enhancing your trading experience? We have an amazing tool for you. Lux Algo creates next-gen trading indicators to help the world understand the markets in a smarter way. They have the largest user profile on TradingView and are the only official Discord partner in the technical analysis space. Lux Algo Premium operates seamlessly with top platforms, such as TradingView and Discord, making it the perfect tool for every trader. Take your trading analysis to the next level with Lux Algo. Please visit the description below and sign up for Lux Algo today.